Welcome back. Well, for the markets, it's holding up with a gain of around 0.5% for the Nifty. So as of now, it seems that we've shrugged off all of the concerns which are coming in from the US that maybe there could be tighter Fed action going forward. So that seems to probably be the scenario playing out for our markets at this point. But nonetheless, let's get talking about a couple of numbers then. Caplin Point is in focus. They posted what was a good set of numbers. Revenue has grown around 15% year on year. Margins have been steady at around 29%. Vivek P, the COO at Caplin Point, now joins in to discuss the numbers. Vivek, hi, welcome to the show. If you could just start by talking about Caplin Steriles, the revenue growth has been strong. It's up around 61% on a year-on-year basis. But, you know, the investor presentation indicates that there is some element of a milestone income as well. So just break up the performance for us. How much of it was sales of drugs in the US? How much of it was milestone? And what is the quarterly run rate that we could expect for Caplin Steriles going forward?
Yeah, so at this point, we are looking at about 70% of product revenue and 30% in milestones and profit share. Typically, how most of our deals are structured is that we have a transfer price and then we have what you call as a licensing fee, which is typically paid at the beginning of our partnership. And profit share is something that happens on a quarterly basis. So at this rate, we are looking at around 70-75% of product revenue and 25-30% of profit share and milestone payments. This is likely to continue to the next few quarters. On a quarter-to-quarter basis, I think slowly we are maturing enough to become, I'm talking about Caplin Steriles, where we're maturing enough to become an entity that can be compared quarter-on-quarter level. The public statement that we have made is that we are likely to hit around 190 to 200 crore in revenue out of this subsidiary, at which level we would net break even this year.
All right, so you would net break even this year. You know, kudos to you on growing the US markets, growing there the way you have a few years ago. I remember it was practically nothing, and now it's crossed the 10% of your revenues mark as well. Let's talk about the other geographies then. You had expansion plans in Chile, Brazil, as well as Russia, where you hired a couple of people as well. What's the kind of potential growth that we can see in all these geographies?
Yeah, Chile is something where we can expect, I would say, sort of near-term revenues, potentially before the end of the year itself. Brazil and Russia, of course, I'll do it one at a time. Brazil is a place which takes a little bit longer, obviously. I think the complexities involved around Brazil in terms of the duration of, product registrations, etc. I would be assuming somewhere around FY24 to have something meaningful out of Brazil. Russia is a complex space right now, I think, for multiple reasons. We don't want to give out any guidance today. The space that we are trying to occupy over there is something a little bit unique at this point. We would like to get into some guidance on all that potentially in 2 quarters from now.
Okay. Vivek, I just wanted to come back to Caplin Steriles. So you're estimating that you'd probably do around 190 to 200 crores in FY23 from Caplin Steriles. Just tell us about the kind of products that you filed for. How many are oral drugs? How many are injectables? And what is the status of approval for all of these?
Yeah, so from Caplin Steriles, we only do injectables and ophthalmics. So we only do sterile products out of there. And we have about 24 filings so far, of which 18 are approved. We have another 6 pending approval. We expect 3 of them to be approved within this year and the other 3 early next year. And the launches for almost all of them have happened already, and we just have 2 more products that are to be launched in the coming months.
Okay, so what is the status when it comes to, say, regulatory inspections for these injectables as well as these ophthalmics? Which plants are they filed from in India, and when can we expect US FDA inspections for those 6 products, I think, which are in the pipeline pending approval?
Yeah, we've already been inspected 3 times by FDA since 2016. And obviously, in the last couple of years, due to COVID, we've not had any inspections. But the same facility has also been inspected twice by EU, once by Brazil, etc. We've got a good compliance record. In our business, we always say that we need to be audit ready anytime, right? So we need to be at a permanent state of readiness. So we are expecting an inspection. Obviously, with today's, there is no There is no instructions as to when people are going to be coming. It's an unannounced audit that is happening in India. So we are expecting an inspection. We just don't know when it's going to be.
All right. And, a couple of questions with regards to your other geographies. Once again, you were looking at an acquisition in Mexico. And speaking about acquisitions itself, you have what? Over almost 1,400 crores of cash on your books. Are you looking at acquisitions, or is there any other use of cash that you have?
No, it's about 750, not 1,400. We have about 750 crore of cash on our books. See, at the same time, all of our expansions that is happening, we are funding it internally, right? So we have taken on close to 500 crore worth of expansion, and we are funding it internally. Of course, you can always ask the question year on year, you are increasing that surplus as well. We want to be ready for any possibilities, So we think that post-COVID, there could be some assets, there could be some businesses that could potentially be of value if it fits in with our line of growth. This should be something that we should be ready for. And we're not going to go to the banks. We've done that in the past 20 years ago. We've sort of burnt our fingers, and we've burnt our bridges as well with the banks, in a good way, I mean that. But we want to be able to do things internally. We want to be able to fund our own OPEX internally as well. So we like to be sitting on a fair amount of reserves in our company.
Okay.
200 crore revenue comes in from the US this year. What's your target for the overall business in terms of a revenue as well as margins? Because you've done, 33% margins for the last 3 years. But in the past, you've gone above that as well, 35, 38 odd percent. So revenue and margin guidance for this year?
Yeah, so revenue-wise, I think what we've done in the past, obviously we're at a bigger base right now, so 15 to 20% would be a good target for us to have. When it comes to margins, do note that, last year, despite having, I think, close to 301 crore of bottom line, there was a 27 crore negative profit in Caplin Steroids, because that is an area that is still, we're very much in the nascent stages, I would say. So this year, if we do a net break even at Caplin Steroids, that will be a good boost to the bottom line also. So in totality, I would say that we are at a good rate right now. I don't see it going down, but naturally it is likely to go up from here once Caplin Steroids also starts to add to the bottom line.
Okay. Vivek, I think Mangalam already asked you this question, but Russia is something that you had indicated could be a potential for you. What is the status there? Are you looking at CIS seriously? What is the status with Russia?
So CIS is a space that we have looked at in the past, and we continue to be interested in that space because geographically and also business model wise, it's sort of similar to the things that we are interested in. It's similar to Latin America as well in some instances, But today, especially Russia, I think it's a unique space. I think without getting into too many details, I think we all know that it could be quite a complicated area, but we always have been a company that likes to look at sort of diamonds in the dust, So we've taken a few bets. We'll, of course, small bets, I would say. Let's see what happens in a couple of quarters from now. If there is anything to report, we will certainly...
So you've not made any filings as of now in Russia. You're just exploring the market.
No, we've not made any filings today.
Okay. All right, Vivek, we're going to leave it on that note. Thanks very much for joining in and speaking with us. So that's Caplin Point. Probably looking at the Russian markets eventually, and they in fact are focused on the US markets and targeting anywhere between 190 to 200 crores in terms of US revenues in FY23. So that's probably going to be an important point to watch out for Caplin Point. Their plant, which supplies to the US, in fact, has not been inspected since COVID. So that would be an important trigger for the company as well going forward.